you do me a favor?
Sure.
And just check YouTube. Yeah. So I just turned it back on. It should be transmitting something over there. So.
So the one that I see.
I'm live. Hey. What's up, y'all? Sorry for the delay. I got a few things. We're dealing with some technical issues, okay? I just want to let you guys know that, okay? So I appreciate you guys being here. I know this is a third live that you're seeing right here. Many apologies, all right? Just dealing with some technical issues. But please hit the number 1 in the chat. I can't see anything, okay? They're saying that the audio is good, but the sound is fuzzy in the background, apparently. So, like I said, this is our first time being somewhere remotely. We got multiple cameras going on all at the same time. We got a lot of things that are popping off. So I apologize for the tardiness. I apologize for we're almost an hour late from where we were supposed to be live and everything. So, like I said, trying some new stuff, trying this new technology that you guys actually gifted me with. So I just wanted to say, again, a big thank you to that, for that. But 1 second, let me just check something here really quick. Okay, chat? Just give me 2 seconds because I need to check a few things. Okay, chat? Oh, yeah. It's airy. It's airy. That's what it is. You hear that? Mm-hmm. But... But, okay, so you guys can hear me. That's what matters for now, at least. Again, I apologize for the my tardiness. All right, we've had quite a bit going on out here. But I do want to test something out here really quick just to make sure it still works. So I'm just going to play something here really quick. But definitely hit the number 1. Let me know you guys can hear me and everything. I'm just going to click this button. Hopefully, if it's correct and if it's working, I'll be right back. That ain't working either. Oh. Let's try that. Let's see what happens here. Okay. All right, we're just going to have to do it just like this then. Okay? Some technical issues, but we're going to make it work. So, again, thank you guys so much for being here. It really means a lot. There was some playback, some video clips I was going to play for you guys, but I don't have it here with this particular stream. Because for some odd reason, this stream is trying to be a pain in the butt, guys. Okay? So, we're just going to get the conversation going. I already introed this information to you guys before, just the other day when we were talking about the whole Epstein file thing, but then I showed you guys at the end of the show what I found to be dope. A Christmas miracle happened, long story short. And a good friend of mine by the name of Jeffrey Woodson had some really amazing news to tell his followers, his friends, his family. It was some really amazing stuff. Now, if you don't know about sickle cell disease, it is a very, very serious disease that takes a hold of a lot of people's lives. And here's the thing, I really do believe that it's not just the person, it's not only just the person that has the actual disease that's going through it, it is the family, it is the friends, it is the community that's actually going through that disease as well. And out of nowhere, out of the clear blue sky, a miracle happened just days before Christmas. Merry belated Christmas to every single one of y'all. My good friend Jeffrey Woodson found out that he has been cured from sickle cell, which is absolutely amazing. And I gotta tell you this. It is a huge, huge disease that really rattles the entire African American community. And there needs to be more awareness over this particular disease and how anyone can go and get this type of procedure done. Now, from what I understand, it's like a genetic editing process that was done, which is really amazing. It's not as evasive as other types of procedures. And so I'm very, very excited and very blessed to have my good brother, Jeffrey Woodson, on the show.
Yeah.
What's good, man?
What's up, man?
Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, man, I'm so grateful and so excited to actually get to talk about this, because this has been probably now about a 2-year journey.
2 years?
Yeah, just from...
And a lifetime of this.
And a lifetime. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, this is like a 40-year-long answered prayer, basically. Because I've had this my entire life. But in the last 2 years is when I started the process to kind of seek out, okay, what other alternatives I have. Because as you get into your 40s, I just turned 40 this year, and 50s, like life expectancy for black males with this disease, because of all the additional complications,
right,
it goes down. So because of my beautiful wife, she encouraged me to look into what type of processes or cures or additional like treatments, something that can really just help what's going on, what's out there. And shout out to my dad and my wife. Both of them always send me like articles and stuff about cure treatments, and this is found to work for sickle cell to improve this and that. And when we found out that there was an actual FDA approved cure out there,
right,
I was floored even just hearing that.
Right. Because
that's not even been a thing. Because up until this point, sickle cell disease has been incurable.
No doubt.
There has been a lot of cases where, under extreme different circumstances, like over the years, people have gotten cured through like stem cell treatments and bone marrow transplants, but it's very strict criteria on that, and I never qualified for it. So hearing that this is an FDA approved cure, I'm like, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel for me.
Yeah, no doubt. And now, I do want to make this abundantly clear for everybody who's watching here as well. There have been other people that have been cured of sickle cell, but you are the second in the country to use this type of procedure in this way. Yes. Which is really, really amazing. And of course, I want to go into the procedure here in just a little bit. For sure. But first and foremost, have you been in contact with the first person that was cured?
I have not, just because of like HIPAA laws and all that. I've just heard information through my doctor, who's Dr. DiPerzio, here at Barnes Siteman Cancer Center, who has just been incredible through this. But he's kind of told me like what his status was as I was getting closer to getting admitted to the hospital and all that stuff. Because there was a moment where we were starting to do the longer part where I was going to be in the hospital for a month. Right. But then after the first day, they found out some information from the other patient. And so out of just erring on caution, they're like, okay, let's put a pause on this. Let's wait till we find out some more information, make sure this is maybe just related to him, because he had other complications. He had other things with this disease that I didn't. So there were other things they had to assess and make sure, okay, is this because of what the treatment is, or is it this individual that just needs some extra things that maybe Jeffrey doesn't? Right. And so I was able to go back in about a month later after they did some more research and all that. But I did hear from my doctor that right before I went in, that from everything that they saw, it was a success. That he was also cured from sickle cell disease, which I was just floored by. Because, I mean, when you live your entire life with something like this, the idea of seeing anything different is just like, whoa, this is a whole new world.
No doubt.
Like, this is actually an option. Like.
So, and I do want you to kind of, I appreciate you talking about, like, it's a whole different world, the experience that you've had now where you're on the other side of this, of this battle, this other side of this experience. But can you tell me or explain to the viewers at home, what was sickle cell and dealing with it like for you?
Yeah. So I've obviously known my entire life that I had the disease and haven't known anything other than that. And when I was younger, probably elementary school, middle school, and high school, I I always looked at it as something that I wasn't gonna let hold me back.
Yeah.
Because due to a passionate mama, she's like, she would always encourage, like, don't like, do what you got to do. Make sure you hydrated. Make sure you know what you need, but don't let that hold you back from doing the things that you want to do. And that was something that was like stuck hard into my psyche. So like, I was in band all through high schoole. I did like marching band and all that type of stuff on the drum line, which was physically is just very difficult. I did a lot of breakdancing and stuff, helped pay for some of my college. I did all this physical activity that normally, if you have sickle cell, it's impossible or very difficult to do.
Right.
Because with sickle cell disease, there's additional complications. Because since the way the disease is normally your red blood cells are circular or oval shaped. And having sickle cell, not everyone is rounded. So some of them are actually like C-shaped, like a sickle, for like years ago when they used to like cut wheat and all that. And so that's where the name came from.
Right.
And so what happens when those go through your bloodstream, it makes you higher prone to things like blood clots, strokes, heart attacks, because when those like sickled cells clump up in an area and like have a blockage, that's where first you have extreme pain, which the best description I've heard from a doctor on like the level and the severity of the pain compared to like other things, they said the best way to describe it is it's equal to that of a woman in labor.
Ooh.
And that's over like your entire body.
Right.
For me, it was like my lower back, my joints, my knees, my hips. I mean, it would be so bad to the point when I got married that my wife, who's a foot shorter than me, had to physically carry me 4 feet from our bed to the bathroom. And because I couldn't walk, I was in so much pain. And
that's insane, man.
And as you get older, like
it gets more
worse.
Intense.
Yeah. And so I didn't growing up. Like I had pain episodes, but it would be like something like in my stomach, maybe for a couple hours. Like I'd take some pain meds, or some put on some heating pads, and all that kind of stuff. And within the next day, I'd be fine.
Right.
But as you get older, like it can linger, it can go longer.
This is the kind of pain that can take you out for like a day or days.
Oh yeah,
right,
absolutely. And I think once I hit college is when I experienced like started to experience the worst of it. Because the first actual like when I had to get admitted to the hospital. Because most of the time when you go through pain episodes like that, if you're not like me and you come from a family of medical professionals, you go to the emergency room.
Right.
Because really the only thing you can do when you're in pain like that is they hook you up to IVs and you get pain meds. That's it. There's nothing else they can do.
So I mean,
that's
like,
going to ease that.
What kind of pain meds were they like kind of like giving you to go through this stuff? Because I'm sure as it progresses, the pain gets even more and more intense. So I'm sure that the medication's getting even more and more intense. I'm hearing people taking the Dilude or
Dilaudid.
Dilaudid. Yeah. Sorry, Dilude. Delulu, guys. Delulu. Dilaudid. I heard ketamine. I've heard all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
So, were you ever to that level?
Oh yeah.
That's insane.
Like, I went from when I was younger taking like Tylenol with codeine, like for when I was really having issues, to taking OxyContin, to taking now I have a prescription for like morphine. And when I've been admitted, like I've had IV of Dilaudid and like several other pain meds I don't even know the names from. But it really takes that level to even just get to a point of somewhat comfort where you're not literally like crying
Right.
Because I mean, yeah, I mean the I'd say the downside. Well, I mean, there's a lot of downsides, but I'll say the one thing that makes it hard for somebody to get treatment is, I mean, other than looking at me now where I have like no hair and like wear a mask and all that stuff, I don't look like a patient. Like, I don't look like I'm as sick as my body is inside. So, I mean, I have people that would tell me like, "Oh, you're athletic. You play basketball." Like, I'm like, I've never played sports in my life. Like, I'm like, no, that's not a thing.
You're about my height. You tall.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I played like backyard stuff, but like organized stuff. But because it does that to your body. But that alone makes it hard when you go into the hospital and the ER and stuff like that, to have to convince people how extreme it is.
Yeah.
And this will probably go off on to something we can talk about later.
Right.
But just the knowledge of even those who are medical professionals, and I have the utmost respect for everyone, but I'm just saying, not everybody is taught like fully, especially working in the ER, what sickle cell is, how extreme it is,
right,
and that you're not just coming in drug seeking. Because a lot of times you walk in with a face like this, like they're like, oh, he just, especially if it's a ER that say you just had a bad week and you've been going in and out and in and out. I mean, that looks sus to them. Yeah,
that's hella sus, man.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's times it's been like that.
Yeah.
Because the first time I had hospital stay for the pain, I was in for 2 weeks in the hospital. Lost probably like 30 pounds in the hospital, like on some heavy meds, and it was miserable.
I believe that, man. Wait, so do you have people in your family? Do you have any other people in your family that have sickle cell?
Yeah. So my well, anymore. So my older sister had the disease, and she got miraculously healed from it.
Hold on. What?
How
did she get healed?
That is
baptized by the blood of Jesus or something? What happened?
Yes, I would say that is literally a miracle. Like, my sister miraculously has been healed from it. Word.
Wait, so she didn't do some sort of evasive, no DNA deleting, genetic editing type of thing. She just woke up one day and she was cured. She had a bottle. Like that. She drank a Coke and she was healed.
See.
Explain that. That's insane.
So, I mean, I grew up Christian. I know we have followers from everywhere, but I know, like, I really believe in like the power of healing and things like that. And so she is like the definition of a praying mama. Like, she's my praying second mama. And so she took it seriously and prayed like diligently about being healed. And it was like, I mean, to the point to where she actually went to a doctor's appointment and got a blood test.
Wow.
And they said, no, you don't have any more.
What?
And I was like,
but that's not normal.
No.
Right?
That is not normal.
Okay, I'm about to say
that's not normal.
That's not like, it's not something you just, you know what I mean? Like, you just had the common cold for your whole life, and then suddenly one day you ate mama's chicken noodle soup and you're just fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it is.
Lucky
it is
her.
Literally a real life miracle.
Wow.
Because both my parents have the trait. And so me and my older sister ended up with the disease, which even with the trait, I think there's only like a 25% chance that your kids will end up with the disease.
Right.
And I guess we just got to roll the dice. But my younger sister does not have it.
But she could pass it on.
That I'm not sure. I don't believe so. But
okay. Because I figured it's a genetic.
Well, no,
it's a hereditary
as far as my
thing,
younger sister, no, she was adopted when we lived in Texas.
Oh,
so
okay.
That was a different story with her.
Right.
So genetically, I mean, there's a possibility because she is biracial.
Right.
But yeah, as far as like the rest of my family, my parents have the trait. My older brother, he has a trait. He's much older than me. But as far as the rest of both sides of our family, I think we have quite a few people with the trait, but not really anybody else that has the disease. So it is really strange how genetics work with all of that.
Yeah, genetics.
That it's
wild.
like, oh yeah, you have it, but you don't have it, but you have it, but you're all in the same bloodline.
Right. Or it skips a generation.
Yeah.
And then the next generation gets it or something like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
that is some pretty wild stuff.
So that's the thing that you can you can pass it on. And the one thing that I'm grateful with this type of procedure and with me being able to be the second person to do this type of procedure, because so the FDA approved cure that's out right now, and the other ways that people have been cured in the past, and don't quote me on the whole everybody in the past with bone marrow transplants and stem cells and those other treatments. But as far as with the FDA approved cure, they modify the cells so that they don't sickle and they don't create all of the complications and the problems, so you don't have all the effects of the disease. And so my doctor, Dr. DiPerzio, he's well known for doing clinical trials and getting treatments and drugs approved by the FDA for used in other sources and stuff, other ways. And so the amazing thing that he's doing is, because even though they got the FDA approval for back in 2023, it still hasn't really been applied much, because it's literally the most expensive treatment in the world right now. Because there's two companies that do it. One's $2.5 million, the other one's $3.5 million. But what they do at the end of the day is they modify the cells to do it. So the beauty about being able to do this clinical trial is everything's the same in the beginning and the end of the process. Because what they do at first, they collect all the cells and they send them off to a lab where they do the gene editing, and then they send it back. And then when I got admitted, then I had to go through chemo for 4 days to kind of wipe my system completely down to zero. And then I got the infusion of the cells. And the difference between the FDA approved one, the commercial one, and the one that I did that he's trying to get approved is, instead of modifying the cells, they actually, which this is why I feel like some Jurassic Park type stuff, because they actually go in and edit out the sickle cell gene completely from my DNA. Yeah. To where so instead of having it just modified, but I still technically have the gene in my DNA. Yeah. I don't have it at all in my DNA.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I mean, that's absolutely insane. I do have a couple, comments that I want to pull up here, because this is live.
Yes.
This is live. Okay. Is the camera on me? Yes. Because this is live, everybody. Some people are like, is this live? Is Pascal doing a live interview? Yes, I'm doing a live interview, Melody. Hi.
I'm right here.
So somebody just said, Brandon7913 just said, what's he saying? It's true. Most hospitals aren't knowledgeable of sickle cell. So when you were talking about going in and out of the hospital and being like, yo, I need that hookup, they're thinking, oh, okay, that's weird that you're...
It's crazy because
I know your face. You keep showing up.
And that's such a common theme. That's so when I started this process, I got hooked up with this group that does Zoom calls, and it's other sickle cell warriors, caretakers, and multiple people come in and out. And when I hear everybody's stories, that's the common theme of I went to this place, had to wait for 3 hours, didn't even get the right treatment, or hey, I tried to walk into this one place to get treatment and they turned me away. I wasn't able to get anything. And then I had to talk to this doctor. I had to overly explain everything. I had to overly explain everything, and even still, they're like, oh well, he's fine. And that's just a common thing, which is the sad part about it is having this disease. You have to constantly over explain what it is just to get adequate treatment for it. And I mean, to call a spade, this is clearly medical racism. Because I've been blessed to work with a lot of, like, through this whole treatment process with amazing staff at Sightman. And I truly think it's a blessing because I've been to so many places that do not have staff like that.
Yeah.
Like, they have been absolutely amazing from the beginning to the point to the end, and then still now going forward because I'll be going back for follow-up treatment and checks and all that type of stuff.
We'll talk about all that, of
Yeah.
course, here in a second. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I mean, just the fact that you have to jump through so many hoops in the first place, and then you had to jump through so many hoops just to get out of this situation that you're in. It's pretty insane. Brandon just said this too, and I wanted to read this too. He said, "I have the trait too, so keep fighting the fight, man.
Yes,
keep
sir.
fighting the good fight." But he said, "Married couples need to get tested before having children." Can I ask you, would that be one of the reasons? Would that be a factor of why not to have children?
Some people look at it like that, honestly, and that's one of the things that me and my wife talked about. Though we're an interracial couple, we've said, like, we wish we would have known even earlier on in our marriage more about, like, sickle cell in a way that, like, how it affects, like, your partner when you get married. Because, like, I thought in my head, oh, I'm marrying somebody who's not black, so obviously she won't have anything to pass on if we have biological children.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is there's still a percentage of individuals, like, of European descent and, like, from all different races that's still a factor. Because even though, like, 80 to 90% affected by this disease is from the African diaspora, there's still, like, I think, like, 3 to 9% that's Latino. There's, like, Middle Eastern. There's Indian.
Right.
There's all these other races that is affected by it, and I mean, things get passed down from generations, so there's always the possibility. So, I mean, if you've ever seen somebody, a loved one, experiencing what I've experienced throughout my life, I mean, that's a valid reason why some people would be like, nah, I don't want to have a child and see them have to go through that.
Go through that kind of situation. Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of... I could see that being a factor.
Yeah,
to kind of slow things down,
but it does. I think emphasize the fact of getting tested, because even if you're healthy and everything's good, you might not know that you have the trait in your family if you never needed to get tested or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
But so you could have the trait. And if you marry somebody with the trait or with the disease, that's just because there's SS and there's SC, which are like two different severities of the disease. SC is not nearly as you still have pain episodes and you're still more prone to things, but it's not nearly as severe as SS. And I have SS. So if somebody with the trait marries someone with SC, like, there's a very high percentage chance that your children are going to have it.
Have a problem, yeah.
Yeah, so it is, I would say it is something to think about and explore, like, definitely getting tested, at least having the knowledge so that you know.
Yeah. And
then you can make your decisions based on that. But that was one thing that me and my wife were like, oh, yeah, we wish we would have had a little bit more information about that. Right. But yeah, it's...
I mean, I feel like in a way it's like, you know the symptoms. You know that you have sickle cell or used to. Hey. But you may... But I feel like you're still learning about the disease as you grow, as you continue.
Oh my God, yes.
Sure, you go through the experience of what it feels like from the time you were, a baby all the way to, 40 years old. But, you're still learning something new about it because it's still something that is still... a disease that they're still trying to understand. The medical world's still trying to understand as well, right? So it is interesting for those that are out there that are actually trying to just go through this and survive. I can see it being a very scary and a very lonely experience too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was one thing since you mentioned like learning more of the disease, as I grew older, especially like once I hit 30, I felt like once I hit 30, everything changed because many of the different like triggers and things that I knew that would cause me issues that I would avoid, or things that I would do differently started to change. Like when I thought I knew, okay, I'm hydrated, I'm good, I got this, I got that. I didn't know that like change, like atmospheric changes in the weather, like that can affect you because it like changes in like air pressure can constrict your veins, and that causes pain episodes because then your blood can't flow through. And like all of that stuff, like as I went like over the last 10 years, like I've learned so much that like even though I've had my entire life, there's stuff that like I was like, oh man, like this really wow. And then there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, I literally don't know. I don't know what's gonna affect me right now. I don't know if it's so.
That's the other thing too. Like, because I'm still. I mean, I know about sickle cell.
Yeah.
I know about the certain the severity of it, and there's sickle cell anemia, there's sickle cell disease, and it's all within, or there's certain brackets of severity, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
I know about all those things, but I feel like there's like, and of course, for someone who doesn't have sickle cell that is trying to understand it a little bit more, I do have a lot of ignorant questions that just kind of pop in my brain, like.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, no doubt, right? To bring awareness and bring the conversation out here.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this then. Like, okay, so like these are gonna be dumb ass questions.
Well,
right?
I mean, that's why we're doing this, so all the people out there
fair
can
warning.
actually hear.
Fair warning, dumb ass questions. Okay, so first, do you know it's coming? Like does that make sense? Like, do you know, like, oh damn, it's about to hurt tomorrow or today or whatever? Is there like some sort of sign that you feel physically that you're just like, oh my Lord, that's going to be tomorrow's going to be painful? Or I've
picked up on some. There are certain things that I know right off the bat that if it were to happen, like we going straight to the ER. Like me going swimming and being cold and wet. That's the recipe for disaster. Like immediately, I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna work. So like even when it's warm outside, like I would rarely go swimming just because.
Wow.
If coming out of the water, there's a really heavy breeze.
Hot, cold temperatures.
Cold, yes. Like winter is has been the worst for me because like the cold temperature, and that was one thing honestly that I told my son, and I was very excited to tell him that like this year will be like the first winter that I can actually go sledding with him, because every time my wife had taken them with my nieces and nephews and all that type of stuff, I've never gone because it was too much of a gamble. And I'm like, I could wear layers, I could do everything right, but like cold wind hits my face, and I'm like, it could cause it.
Dang, that's crazy.
And I know like whenever I look and it's either like a lot of rain, like weather like affects it a lot, because any change in like atmospheric pressure really affects it. So actually when we were in the process of adopting my son, we had to fly to Ethiopia twice, and so there are precautions I did, like wearing compression clothing the whole trip, because like the elevation in the capital in Addis Ababa is like double that of Colorado Springs. So I had to be extra cautious. And so like every day of that trip, I was wearing compression clothing because it helps to like encourage blood flow and it keeps your muscles like warm and all that type of stuff. So I wore that the whole trip pretty much. And thankfully I didn't have any issues because of it. But yeah, a lot of weather tells and like certain things like that, like, and there's certain things that I would see and I'm like, there ain't no way in hell I will ever do that. Like when I saw, because I for a while I was getting back into working out and people were talking about recovery stuff. You could do like the cryo thing, like
the
cold
cryo,
plunges. I was like, hell
Yeah,
no.
you're like sauna and then going to New Cope?
Oh,
Nah,
God, no.
nothing coming, bro.
No, that is an
Nope, we
immediate,
good.
immediate, like, issue for me.
Yeah.
Which is also why I avoid CrossFit like the plague.
So no burpees for you.
No, God.
No thrusters, no nothing.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Because
All right.
actually, one of the worst episodes I had, and I was in for almost 3 weeks, was right after doing CrossFit with a friend of mine. And it wasn't even full CrossFit. It was just like box jumps, and it was like cycle stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he was cool because he knew, like, he knows my situation, all that type of stuff. And so he was always checking in, like, are you good? Like, make sure you drink the water, all that kind of stuff. Because actually, one of the easiest preventatives of everything is just staying hydrated.
Word.
Because that just keeps the blood flowing. So that's that's all right. If you see me, you usually always see me with a water bottle. But he saw me after this one cycle, and he looked at my face, and he's like, you gotta go? And I was like, yeah. And it was like, I think we lived like 10, 15 minutes from the gym, and it was like, it felt like it took 5 years to get home.
Oh my God.
I was in that, because sometimes it's like a gradual progression, and I know, okay, I need to take it easy. I need to, like, get warm, maybe take some low dose pain meds, like maybe just some ibuprofen, and I'll be good. And then there's some times where it's like in seconds. Like with this situation, he saw my face, and I was standing there, and I was like trying to assess it, and then literally it felt like a knife just shot down my vertebrae, and it was like pain, like all over, like all the way down to like my hips and everything. And I was struggling to get to my car. Like he had to help me get to my car.
Yeah.
And just driving home, I was like, Lord, please don't let there be a red light. Please don't let there be a red light.
Yeah.
Like, a whole time, of course, there was a red light. And I was like,
Of course there was.
oh, my
You
God.
just had to grit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just grit.
Right.
Hold on to it as much as you can.
And my wife was like leaving to go to work, because she's a school teacher, so she was leaving super early. We went like early to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And soon, she's like, you need to go to the ER. I was like, yeah, we need to go. Because it was immediate, and it was like full blown, like right off the bat.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff, man.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy is that kind of pain and that kind of stuff you've dealt with all of your life, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about this, because obviously the procedure that you took or that you did that obviously worked is not something that was immediately on the table. You had to look for that, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about these other procedures. And everybody out there that's watching the show, by all means, please ask any questions. I'm looking down at the chat. I got it right here. If you have any questions, please throw them into the chat. I will try to ask him as many questions as I can, because I know that we all have somebody that we know, or maybe you yourself is somebody who is battling with, that is surviving sickle cell disease. So, please, by all means, ask the questions, and we can, bring some more awareness out here as best as possible. Well, let's talk about this, because I know that there's other types of procedures that are a lot more invasive.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those first. What are those?
Yeah.
What are those other procedures? Because there are other people that have been cured of sickle cell, but they didn't do the genetic editing process.
Yeah.
What's that process?
So, from my knowledge and experience with other people who've gotten cured, many of them I met through this group that I was in. Many did bone marrow transplants, where you have to get like an exact or a pretty close match beforehand before you can even do it.
So you got to find somebody else,
whether
either in your family,
yeah,
or somebody out there just randomly has a match to your own DNA. Blood type? What
blood type? I think there's other criteria, but for sure blood type. And shout out to my sickle cell group and all of y'all. Hope y'all are watching this, and I'm not screwing up. But
he's doing a terrible job. Terrible job.
Yes, all my sickle cell warriors out there. But the other one that I do know of, I know there's many probably. So do some research. Like you can definitely Google some, and you'll find some. But I know there's various different stem cell treatments, like therapies and stuff that you can go through that they've seen success. I've met via technology. A few people that have gone through those and are living life cured from sickle cell disease. I don't know the specifics of like with those if it's like they don't receive any of the effects, but they still have like the DNA of sickle cell.
Yeah.
And I don't know that specific, but the two that I know of that have been the big proponents of people actually getting cured was bone marrow transplant and then like various different like stem cell therapy.
Yeah. Are those expensive procedures?
I believe they are very expensive. And the especially the more I know a little bit more about the bone marrow transplant because that's the one that I knew of when I was younger as like a possibility. But the downside to that, other than having to find a match and all that type of stuff, is, I mean, I think since it's got to go into the marrow of your bone, it's very painful too, from my understanding. And growing up and dealing with a lot of doctors and information, I didn't qualify for a lot of those, and the biggest proponent was because like my mom's been an RN, my dad's been medical in the military. He's retired senior chief petty officer, and he actually did hospital administration at the VA, so he's got a lot of knowledge about that. And then like my sister-in-law is an RN, my mother-in-law is an RN, so I was surrounded. And so even so, before I got married and all that, like I would only ever go to the ER or the hospital if it was like really serious. And so because like my mom was an ER nurse, and so a lot of at the time, over the many different jobs she's had, she's done a lot of ER stuff. So like we would just get treatment at home, and it'd be done in like a couple hours or whatever. So a lot of times with those cure treatments, they look at the amount of times you've been in the hospital, how many times you've been admitted,
right.
If you've had other things like blood transfusions, like how many of those have you had within the year. All of those criteria like matter to whether you qualify to be in this, among other things. But because unfortunately, in hindsight, the blessing and curse of being in a family medical professional is like we didn't have a lot of that. It was like I never went to the ER or got hospitalized for sickle cell until I got out of high school. And so all the way up until then,
wow.
It was just home treatment, and it would sometimes be days that I'd be in bed.
Right.
But it was like it was all at home, and we just treated it. And
I mean, your social life must be insane then, like, or it must be tough because I mean, you know, it's like I'm just saying. I know you're married, but I'm just saying, like, even like just trying to be out and be social, like just maintaining even friendships and stuff like that. I'm sure you're there one day, then you're gone for a week because of being knocked out because of the pain. Like, what's that experience like?
Man, it's been, and I grew up military as well, so like
you move around a lot.
So we move around a lot. But when my dad got stationed here, we've been in St. Louis area. We've been here since early 2000s, and I've had some amazing friends that understood, and I was able to like build really strong like brotherhood friendships with them. But other times growing up, it was when I was younger and I didn't have them like as much, and it was like I knew, okay, I can't be cold, like getting into cold water. I know I need to stay hydrated, and that was pretty much the two things growing up. I was like, okay, I just need to make sure about those. And other than that, like I would do all the other stuff that the kids were doing, like bike riding, like building forts, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I never let it really hold me back from anything.
Right. But I feel like it is a good thing. I mean, well, back in the day, not anymore as much, but back in the day, if your friends are actually knowledgeable of it, so it's not like where the hell is he? He was just here 2 days ago. He ain't coming out. He ain't talking to nobody. Like, so even myself, you know, on a personal level, I didn't know that you had sickle cell until you went on social media and started talking about it. And then that was the moment where I was like, oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah,
that makes sense. You know?
I would say it's been a crazy road until I started going to therapy that I really started to understand how much I lived in survival mode my whole life. And even though, like,
you're a black man in America, I had to say that. So yeah,
I mean,
it's layered.
It's certainly layered.
It's a little layered, bro. But I understand what you said.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain layers to it, but having this, and that's the kind of 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, on top of being black in America, and I got this disease on top of it. Like, come on, God, like, yeah.
Survival mode already set.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Takes it a whole nother level. So I understand what you mean, though.
But that was one thing, like, I kind of uncovered during therapy was that, like, man, there were so many times growing up where in social, like, circles, I mean, growing up, like, you try to be like everybody else. Like, you don't want to stand out. You want to be the cool guy, all that kind of stuff.
No doubt.
And there were times where, like, I would use this disease as my trump card. It would be like, oh, this person's cool, like, oh, this girl don't even want to talk to me. Like, shit, like, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you don't want to be cool with me? Well, at least I'll make you feel sorry for me.
Oh, word.
And
okay.
And for better or worse, like, that's how I operated because I at least had that, oh, you can at least feel some empathy for me. Even though we're not friends, we're not hanging out, whatever.
Right.
But I at least feel something from you.
Yeah.
And as toxic as that was, it helped me, like, understand how much the unfortunate factor of living with a chronic illness like this is, it was used as a shield sometimes.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh man, like, this is, I would get, because one of the biggest factors that would set off things is, like, stress. And so there were some times in college, I'm stressing about, man, I got this going on, I got this project, I got that. And literally it would be so tense that it would throw me into a pain episode.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's one thing, I'm grateful for my doctor, Dr. Wall, that I've been able to get to a point where I'm like, yeah, this is something that I've had. Yeah, this is something I lived with, but this isn't all of me.
Right.
And that's hard for all my warriors out there. I know y'all understand when you are constantly dismissed and constantly pushed to the side, constantly not believed. That stuff weighs on you. And so when you can finally say, like, you know what? Like, I'm more than this disease. That's a journey that I'm starting now.
Yeah.
But that man, they don't, and that's one thing that you don't really talk about as much because you look at the terminal, the physical effects of how much this disease affects you, but very little do you talk about the mental health aspect of it and how much it totally messes with how you think. Because it'd be to the point to where, like, okay, if you have a scenario, you want to go out with your homies or, like, they're going to do this, and this. And somebody without sickle cell would be like, okay, I just need to make sure I got my jacket, whatever, my keys. All right. Let's bounce. Me, I have a laundry list of stuff that I'm thinking of and, like, backups and contingencies and, like, okay, do I got backup pain meds? Okay, I got my water here. Okay, if it gets a little too cold, I'll make sure I got my hoodie in the car. Mm-hmm. Like, there's all these other things that I'm thinking of and having to assess.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets to the point that we be like, you know what? Nah, I can't go this time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it has affected a lot, like, hanging out. And I'm so grateful for the family that I have and the support system that I have because my wife is superwoman. Like, she has understood a lot of this and has so graciously not faulted me for it. because there's so many times where it's like, oh, it's a family thing. Oh, but it's outside and it's really cold, or it's this, like, or hey, we're gonna do like a pool party here, and she already knows. Yeah, it's just gonna be me and Zane, my son, because I can't afford to do that, and then end up in the hospital. Then we got medical bills coming in with that, and then it's like
more and more problems.
Yeah, and so I've just had amazing support between her and my extended family with that, because the last 3 months that I've been going through this procedure has literally been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So obviously you saw these other evasive like procedures.
Yeah.
First and foremost, what is the reason why you decided not to do those procedures? Real quick, what's the reason why you decided, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Why this procedure of all procedures?
Well, so as far as the other procedures, the real answer is like, I looked into them and I never qualified for any of them. So I'm like, I can put an application.
So what do you mean by like you didn't qualify? What
so
do
like
you
a
have
lot
to
of
do to
times
qualify?
they'll put out criteria like, okay, you have to have had this many hospital stays in order to you've had to have this many blood treatments, or have had to be in the hospital for extended amounts of time. And so a lot of that, it didn't apply to me, and so I couldn't even apply to any of those. And it was actually when I started working like this really physical job that me and my wife were finally like, okay, we need to seriously look into curative therapy, because it was to the point to where like it was every other week I was in and out of work, and it cost me jobs in the past because I couldn't be there because of physical issues, and almost took like one of them to court over it because I had FMLA and they violated it, and it was a whole thing. And so finally me and my wife were like, okay, we need to look into this seriously. Like, not just, oh, that's cool, that's nice. Like, oh, I saw this article, such and such from this area got cured. But actually, like, okay, what resources do we have in this area? So what happened was, so I ended up having such a bad pain episode when I was in the hospital, and it was threatening my job and all that stuff. And finally, I got to the point to where I was like, okay, I need to apply for disability, and I need to figure out how to get a part of this cure therapy.
The pain was that bad.
Yeah.
That you had to apply, or you were thinking about applying for disability.
Yeah. I actually did apply for disability.
Wow.
And thankfully was rewarded, because it was tough. After getting fired from a job, having to try to get another job, and then working at Amazon for a while, and that's what really set it off, because there wasn't a lot of support from the staff. It came to the point to where that was my only option. Well, at least that's what it felt like. That was my only option. It's like, I need to get on disability, so like my family is not just living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by, and I need to figure out how to get cured from this, because I maybe got 10, 20 years with them. And so I finally talked to my doctor, my hematologist, Dr. Blender over at Siteman, and he put me in contact with, because they were at the time, like, they're, and I think now still, they're always looking for people that want to get into some of these clinical trials. Yeah. Because a lot of times they're either testing different drugs for treatment and how it affects people with sickle cell, or in this case, they're actually testing a cure therapy. And so he's the one who kind of got me in contact with Dr. DiPerzio. And from what I heard from his colleagues and all that kind of stuff, he's kind of a big deal around and all that type of stuff. But it wasn't until later I realized, oh, he's a big deal nationwide. Like, this is the guy. who's gotten so many treatments FDA approved, and like, so I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm in good hands.
Right. So how did he present the procedure to you? How did he explain what the procedure was going to be like for you, though?
So my first time actually talking with him about it, I told him, like, I saw that there's this CRISPR cure that was FDA approved December 2023. At first, I was just like, I need to figure out how to get on the wait list for this. And so he's like, absolutely, like, we're looking for people and all that. And so we started kind of little things that he knew were going to be needed for, like, the bigger process. Like having to get off medication, doing, like, so every month getting blood exchanges, which they do through the research department. But he explained it that so with the commercial cure that's approved, the way it works is like they would collect. I'd have to be in the hospital for a few days, and they collect a certain amount of my cells, which is the cells that'll be edited. They'll send those off to the lab, the specific lab that does the editing, which can take, I don't know, a month or a couple months, depending. And when the edited cells come back, then I have to go through chemo for 4 days to basically start my system from scratch. And then then I'll have like 2 days of rest, and then they do the infusion of the new cells into my body, and from that point on, they said they monitor it to where they see the engraftment of the cells, where they basically start reproducing naturally without the sickling, and then they just kind of follow up with everything for the next several years, actually. So right now I'm going like every other week, and then I'll go monthly, and then for the next 15 years. Like just annual checkups, like, to make sure.
But are there any like risks for this procedure? Like, could there have been like a bad side effect or something of that sort? What are the risks?
Yeah.
For this?
The biggest risk I've heard was like how people are affected by the chemo, because and they did a myriad of blood tests prior to even collecting the cells. Because they checked all my levels, like all these different vitamins, like potassium, this, that, because they do verify that your white blood cell counts are good. Your what they call it, but there's all these different factors when they do the blood test just to ensure that it will be beneficial for you. Because if you have some extreme case and like you have like very, very, very low, like say iron or something like that. Like I'm not sure that would be a thing. Then they would be like, okay, we need to get that up before we start things. We'll have to get some medication for that. So they do all these things to make sure by the time that we do that. But so there may be some side effects with some of that medication, depending on the person and their body and all that. But then, of course, there's like the side effects of chemo, which I'm still recovering from fully.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I just want you guys to know. I mean, this guy had a full head of hair. Okay, massive, beautiful head of hair, and obviously heavier.
Yeah.
So all of this is coming from the chemo.
Yeah, for the most part.
So just so I understand, the procedure itself what was the time span for the procedure itself?
Totally from beginning to end was about, let's see, from about like August, like June or August. It was sometime in summer. Mm-hmm. They collected the cells, and then it wasn't till, well, I'll say the first time they said, "Hey, your cells are back. We're going to get ready for you to do it." That was September. That they were setting up for me to come, and then I would be in the hospital for a month, and so all in all, probably about like 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something.
But
like
it seems like everything went into overdrive closer to like the fall, winter time.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of like, okay, like hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, okay, just be patient.
Yeah, they're
like,
setting it all up. They're setting up all the dominoes so they can knock them all down real quick.
Right, because initially when I first asked about it, they were all set for doing the commercial cure, but they had various different meetings with insurance and Missouri Medicare and all of that, and it was just the timeline of everything was so unknown as to when they could actually roll it out, because with it being so expensive, they're like, well, how do we not have this come back on the patient, and they're paying this off for the rest of their life.
Right.
And so because that whole process of them trying to going back and forth and trying to get approval, like here and this, here and that was, I think prior to that was when my doctor started doing the clinical trials, which is what I got in on, was a clinical trial. And so that's why, as far as this specific way of doing the editing, I'm only the second person in the world to do this way.
It's wild.
Which is incredible. And because his goal, talking to him and everything, is that the more trials we can do, the more options we can produce, will hopefully lower the cost of the cure and make it more widely accessible to people that actually need it. Because that's the big factor.
So that's the thing, though, too, because you said that there was a lot of requirements for the other things, like, you know, if it's a bone marrow situation, or if they're going to do some sort of, which sounded, because bone marrow, like a bone marrow, oh my God, that's invasive and that's a lot.
Yeah.
But you didn't make the cut, or you would not have made the cut for those things.
Yeah.
And
there's like an age restriction too, because a lot of times, especially with bone marrow transplant, they don't want to do it after a certain age. Most of the time with bone marrow transplants, from my knowledge, I'd say there's a bigger percentage of them, if they're done in like adolescent or like, it's usually younger age.
But as far as the one that you did, was there any type of requirements aside from having the money? You know what I'm saying? From aside from having the financial backing to do it, like, did you have to have some sort of requirement that you just checked all the boxes and they're like, you are the guy, Jeffrey, come on in. You know what I mean?
Well, thankfully, no. I mean, other than the specifics that they had to do with like the blood test to make sure like my levels were good enough, in order, because the big thing was like making sure that my platelets and the stem cells that they were taking from my blood would be healthy enough in order for them to do the editing in the first place. And so if for some reason they weren't, I think there would be some requirements. And I don't know how much of a factor it was, but they did say this is the year for me to do it, because at 41, it would be more strict on them doing it or not doing it. So I'm like, I'm grateful for that I got in on it this year.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, the reason why I'm asking that is because you're the second person that was on this particular procedure. So I'm wondering, what is it that made you make the cut? And not many other people, because I don't know how long hold on. I don't know how long this organization's been around for, or this this procedure's been around for, or this doctor has been doing this procedure. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, so you're the second one. How long has this this medical group been around? And why would you be the second one and not be like the 50th at this point? You know what I mean? So
no, that's a valid question. I think it's because they had gotten the FDA approval. In order to get an FDA approval for a procedure, you have to go through various different clinical trials and have a certain amount of like positive results before you can actually get the stamp of FDA approved. And so that had been going on for years. And actually in Europe, I'm not sure if it was Great Britain, but they were the first ones that actually created the gene editing cure and found out it was a cure for sickle cell disease. And then it came to the States in like 2023, and they got the approval. So as far as why it was very few, honestly, from talking with the doctors, there's not as many people that are like applying to be willing to do a clinical trial, and that's been a big issue. And I think part of it is people don't know about it, especially like warriors out there that I know. Many of them don't even know that that's an option, because unless you specifically are asking like your doctors and nurses what cure type of therapies are there, I think as they're getting more positive results, like they'll start to talk about it more. But when I started this this whole journey, there wasn't much that was offered as far as like, hey, there's this. I mean, there was plenty of other things as far as like questionnaire or like clinical trials for like little things, but not like a cure or treatment.
Right.
And so, from my knowledge, there was. And I'm not sure if it was Dr. DiPerzio or another doctor. I'm pretty sure because he's kind of like been the head of this whole rollout. But there was a young lady in children's here in St. Louis that was cured from sickle cell doing one of the other clinical trials. Because he's done, I don't know the number, but I know he's done other clinical trials doing other procedures as far as what happens in the lab, because the beginning and the end is still the same, but what they do in the lab has changed. So it's like if you look at any like generic drug, you have like ibuprofen, and then you have like Walgreens brand, then you have Walmart brand, and then you have like but it's all the same thing. And so that's kind of what he's trying to do, is give like other options that still do the same thing.
No, I get it.
And so I know for sure there was one gentleman in front of me. And then there was like a couple other people that had done some of the other trials. I don't know the specifics about them as far as like success or fail.
Yeah.
But I do know, because I think I heard it on the news and heard from one of the other doctors, that there was a young lady in children's that was successfully cured. And hers was a little bit different as far as how they did the modification of the cells in the lab. But to answer your question, yeah, I think honestly people just don't know about it, and which is a big proponent why I started actually broadcasting on social media, like you saw, and started my YouTube channel, The Warrior's Journey, because there's not many people that know what your options are other than just maintenance treatment. And so when I got you're on the wait list for this, then I was like, okay, I need to document this. I need to get this out to people.
No, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, and the thing that really hit me, and was also kind of like a solidified, like, yes, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Was there was a friend of mine from high school, and I had it was one of those like moments in your life that you remember for the rest of your life.
Of course.
But I remember taking her to homecoming, and like the prerequisite was I had to meet her dad. And it was the most terrifying experience of my life, because we were on a military base, so he's big old burly Marine dude. Like,
word.
Well, I'm not sure if he's Air Force or Marine, but don't quote me on that. But it was one of those like it sticks in your mind kind of thing. And when I posted the first thing that I got on the list for the cure, she messaged me and was like, I'm so glad to see that. Like, recently my dad passed away from complications of sickle cell. I was like, yo, for real? And that just like hit me like a ton of bricks, because it was like one of those experiences where it's like, one of those experiences that you're like, okay, I want to be able to do this for my nieces, like put the fear of God and whatever, do their day, like, you know, let them know what's up kind of situation.
Right.
And having experienced it, I'm like, man, that hit me. Yeah. And so that's when I started the Warrior's Journey, and I specifically called the Warrior's Journey because having sickle cell, you're constantly called a patient. But in the community of people with sickle cell disease, we call each other warriors. Yeah. Because, I mean, you are fighting
every day.
Every day. So shout out to my warriors out there. Keep fighting.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So I got some questions.
Yeah,
so we're gonna go through these questions pretty quick, because we're kind of
getting low on time.
We're getting low on time. First off, I do want to ask this first. Of course, somebody was asking. Wait, where did it go? Okay, here it is. Medusa said, Thank you so much for the comments, guys. I appreciate it. What doctor, what hospital, how much?
Yes.
So, you did mention the doctor.
Yes.
What's his name again?
Dr. DiPerzio.
Okay.
I think his first name is John, but if you just search Dr. DiPerzio on WashU Medicine, or BJC or Siteman, which is like, it's kind of all in the same thing around St. Louis.
I was going to say, mind you, there's people who are watching all over the world.
Sorry.
So just BJC is Barnes Jewish.
Yeah,
Barnes Jewish Center, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Barnes Jewish Center.
I'm used to Barnes Jewish Hospital, but Barnes Jewish Center,
Yes.
Washington University physicians.
Yeah, it's like the website where you'd be able to find his information.
And then of course this was a clinical trial, but it
Yes.
still cost something. So how did you flip the bill, if you mind me asking?
So this was another huge blessing because we were waiting so long trying to figure out, okay, we're going to do the commercial stuff. Like, are we going to have to do a GoFundMe? Like, how are we going to pay for this? And it worked out to where he was starting another new clinical trial, and that's where they had only had one person go through.
Right.
And he offered it to be, he said, with this being a clinical trial, like, they work with a sponsor that foots the bill basically for all of the everything that costs, and then the hospital as well. And so as far as like paying for the procedure, that cost wouldn't come onto me. Now the thing that I did have to
so it's
pay
like
for,
an angel program type of thing, angel investment type of thing, a private financier.
Yeah, I think it's basically like an entity that finances medical research, is my understanding of it.
Okay.
And so they work closely with Siteman Cancer Center, which is where he's at, within Barnes Jewish Center. And so they support like the research and the clinical trials and all that. So the main thing I had to like foot the bill for was if I had co-pays for visits or costs for medications,
right.
Things like that. Those were the main costs that would come to me. And since it went over such a long time, like it did add up over time, but it was nowhere near what it would cost.
I mean, thank God for that organization. Thank God it was a clinical trial. Thank God you had, somebody out there basically paying for the procedures to be done. This is really amazing. I got another question for you here.
Yeah.
This is from Moan. I think it's Monsiah, something like that. Mones Appetite. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, guys. I'm really, really sorry. But anyway, they asked, what is the age limit? Is there an age limit for the procedure? And then the second question is, how can they get this treatment if you do have sickle cell?
Yes.
So maybe walk us through some of those those bullet points real quick.
Yeah. So from my understanding, at least from what I've experienced, they did tell me like under 41 you were still okay, but I'm not sure after that what the age restriction is. But as far as how you could kind of get in with this procedure and everything like that, wherever you're at in your states or the doctors that you're going to, the biggest thing is ask questions. Is just tell them like, hey, I heard about this cure for sickle cell disease. Are we doing that? How can I get on the wait list? And be vocal about it. Mm-hmm. Because I knew if I didn't bring it up, I wouldn't have even gotten to this point. And
really?
Yeah, because I was just doing the maintenance treatment where you would just go and get treated and all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until like the encouragement of my wife and our situation with my job and all that type of stuff, that I was just like, you know what?
Enough's enough.
Enough's enough. I need to be more active and advocate for getting this cure. Mm-hmm. Because unfortunately, not every hospital group is talking about it. Like, they might know about it, but it's kind of a weird... it's like they need people for clinical trials, but it's not until you actually search about being a part of a clinical trial that you even know about them.
Right.
So I would say for this person and for anybody who's looking into it, wherever you have your normal doctor getting your treatments and your medication and all that type of stuff, I ask them because I know each state is starting to roll it out. I recently saw there was a young man in New York that got the gene editing treatment. It was cured from sickle cell. I think I heard some in Tennessee. So states are starting to roll it out. So start asking your care physicians about it, and they'll be the ones to direct you, like, okay, we need to get you in contact with this person, maybe get on a clinical trial or get on the wait list or whatever it is. They can probably guide you to get onto that, because they need people for it. They just are not asking. It's weird.
No, of course. I mean, I think one of the main takeaways that I think everybody can take away from this conversation as well, not only that this procedure exists and it is successful, and now you are sickle cell free, which is amazing, but that get vocal. Start talking. Start saying, if you are somebody that has this type of ailment, start talking about it. Don't be shy. Don't shy away from it. Speak out and let it be heard, because you never know who's that listening ear that might have that key, might be the plug to something big that could help you get towards that journey towards health. You see what I'm saying?
And to add to that too, warriors, I know living with this disease, it's very difficult to feel like you need to speak up about something else. It's very difficult when you constantly feel like you're not being heard. So I get it. Trust me, I get it. But this is one thing that I encourage you, I implore you, like, keep speaking up about this in particular, because the more people that are asking about it, the more people are getting treated, the more it's going to get out, and more people are actually finally going to get cured. And so I know it's difficult. I know it's frustrating as hell sometimes talking to doctors and nurses and them not believing you. But I implore you, you can do this, because this is life and death, literally.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. I just want to piggyback on that, because you just said something really, really beautiful there. But I also want to say, for those who are feeling guilt from speaking up too much about the pain, because there's also that guilt of I'm not feeling well. It's like, what else is new? You're always not feeling well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't feel that guilt and keep speaking up, because that somebody will turn over and be like, listen, you're tired of it. I get it.
Yeah.
We got this. I just found this pamphlet. Take a look. You know what I mean? I think the more people start talking about it and bringing more awareness of it, the more people will, of course, understand or get educated to get hip to it. That's the problem. Like, for me, myself, I know sickle cell, but I didn't know how bad it really was until I started looking into it and started asking the right questions for myself. You see what I'm saying? And so, and I didn't know you had sickle cell until you actually went online and said, hi guys, I have sickle cell. And so I was like, oh damn, I didn't know that. So again, like you just said, don't be afraid, speak up, find those groups. He has a really great platform. Again, can you let everybody know where they can find your platform?
Yeah, you can search on YouTube, The Warrior's Journey. That's my YouTube channel, and I'm updating as much as possible. I'm definitely going to be updating more now that I'm out of the hospital.
Yeah, no doubt.
I've been doing that on my Instagram and TikTok as well, which my Instagram is @PrinceFree. The number 3 is for the E on free.
Okay, so two threes.
1 3. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
1 3. But you can, because I put up stuff on my stories, and that's where I posted a video with me and my wife talking about it. And also, shameless plug, check out my YouTube channel, Slickwood Productions, because I'm actually in the process of producing a feature film, and this is the core of the story for that. Is young man who is tasked with completing a cure in a world like this where there is a cure, but it's extremely expensive and unattainable. And he has a race against time before the release of this chemical weapon that's going to annihilate a whole entire community. And so it's something I've been writing for like the past 4 years, actually, as I've been going through this. So it's a lot of art imitating life in a way, but putting a nice candy coated of action thriller.
Yeah, that's dope. Isn't there like a Netflix?
Yeah,
there's a Netflix show called like Supercell.
Supercell,
which is also dope. It's a dope show.
Yes, I love that came out because there were so many people that were like, "Oh, I didn't know anything about sickle cell until I watched Supercell."
Yeah, it's like, well, now you just got educated,
right?
But I don't have superpowers.
Yeah,
that's you know what I'm saying. It's like I don't have superpowers yet, but it's coming. Yeah. Well, hey man, again, let everybody know where they can find your information, find you, follow you, that kind of thing. Just one more time.
Yes, yeah. Big one. Check out my website. It's at a Slickwood Production. It's exactly how it sounds. Slickwoodproductions.com. And you can follow me on social media. My YouTube channel. Search The Warrior's Journey. And that'll be my YouTube channel where I'm putting out all the information and updates. And you can find me on Instagram at Prince3 with the number 3 for the letter E and free. Yeah, you can check me out there, and that's where I'm posting a lot of stuff and keeping everything updated. Well.
That's dope. Okay, one last question.
Yes.
I think it's a dumb ass me. I totally forgot to ask you this question because you said it in the video, and I didn't get to play the video.
Oh, yeah.
So, and somebody just asked about this, which was a very brilliant question. So, thank you so much for catching this. But they said, Kyla just asked, and it's a great question. She says, I want to know about the day he found out he was cured. So, could you just take us back there?
Yeah. So I had gotten discharged from the hospital, and this is the second follow-up appointment I had. And so we're sitting in the doctor's office. They've already taken my blood, and they usually go through, okay, your levels are looking good. We're on the right track. That's been the last couple of appointments. Well, this time I'd looked at the counts, and I'd asked the doctor, okay, my counts, like, so average for a person without sickle cell is between like 13 and 18. Mine's at like 10.4 at the time. And so he was telling me, he's like, oh, but you actually have to look at the breakdown a little bit more specifically. Because there's like hemoglobin A, hemoglobin A2, hemoglobin F, and the one that indicates sickle cell is hemoglobin S. And for me, my percentage for hemoglobin S has always been like 50%, 55%, something like that. And so he was looking actually at the blood test from a week prior. And he said, looking at that, your hemoglobin S is a 4. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, 40, okay, we're going down. He's like, no, a 4%. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's insane, homie.
So he's like going through all this other stuff, and then he goes out, and my wife looks over at me, and she's like, so does that mean you don't have sickle cell anymore? And I was like, I think so. Then the assistant comes back in and we're talking through, and I asked him, I was like, okay, just give it to me straight, layman's terms, like no like medical jargon. Do I not have sickle cell anymore? And he's like, pretty much. I was like,
that's incredible.
I literally was like speechless. I was like, okay, oh, all right.
That's wild, man.
So it was literally like that, and I'm like, I'm floored. I look over at my wife, like she's crying in the corner, because she's been like through the trenches.
She's been going through it with you. You know what I mean?
She is like Superwoman, taking on all of this stuff with my son while I'm in here and taking care of me. Like she's been incredible, and so she felt it as much as I did, because that's the one thing not too many people talk about. And you did mention it in the beginning that the chronic illness, the whole family is affected by it. And she has been like my rock, like through this. Like she is taking up so much extra stuff just so we can keep it pushing.
Yeah.
And And that's hard when you don't have that type of support. And she is definitely supported me in that way. And so like seeing this, like we were both like we're starting a whole new life now.
Yeah.
Like everything's changing.
Ain't that wild?
I'm like,
yeah. So what? Take me back. You found out. You went home.
Yeah.
Probably popped champagne. Probably had the time of your life.
Oh man, my sister-in-law, shout out to her. She brought over the champagne.
I bet. But I want to know what it was like waking up the very next day after finding out sickle cell free.
I'll say it. Even now, like it still fully hasn't set in, and I think mainly because like I'm still recovering from like the chemo and other stuff. And actually, when they took that blood test where they found out I was cured, they did it because they found out I had pneumonia and rhinovirus, and so it's been crazy recovery. So waking up the next day, I was like, I think I laid in bed for a while and just looked at the ceiling and was like, am I really like, I don't have sickle cell anymore? Yeah. Like it just, yeah, it's still, my mind is still processing.
Yeah, because it's only been how many days now?
Let's see, we found that out on Monday. Yeah.
Monday? You mean to tell me this Monday?
Yeah.
You mean Monday like this Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the best Christmas present.
Hell yeah.
I was like, when I called my parents, I was like, look, I don't need nothing. I'm good. I got the best Christmas present ever.
That's
like
insane.
Yeah. And yeah, it was,
wow.
Yeah. It's still going to take me a while for it to like click.
Yeah.
I think probably once like I regain most all my strength and everything like that, then I'll probably, when I really actually see the effects, it'll probably like really start sinking in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still honestly in shock.
Right.
I literally still am honestly in shock.
Yeah, I mean, it's only been 4 days, man, since you found out. So I'm sure you're starting to get acquainted to a certain thing. It's kind of funny because it's like, wow, I can do this now. I can do that.
Yes.
I can do all these things that I had to like be super prepared for.
Oh yeah.
That I don't have to be like that anymore.
Yeah.
I can just walk out around here and be just normal.
Oh my gosh.
And not have to prepare as much.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really beautiful thing. Like you really, not everybody gets this kind of blessing. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So again, that's some really amazing stuff, and again, congratulations.
I've been telling some of my friends, I'm like, I'm gonna hit the gym again. Like,
Word.
I hate running, but I'm like, you never know. I might train for an Ironman.
I was
gonna
looking
like David Goggins out here.
You're gonna be David Goggins out here, like, who's gonna carry the boat? Right. But on some real stuff, man. Seriously, congratulations on all this.
Thank you so much.
And of course, you're not out of the woods yet, right?
Still
you're not
got
out
some
of the woods.
but
You're not out of the woods yet, but soon enough,
yes,
you will be.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, man,
it's a whole new world.
There you go. There we go.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Don't ever do that again.
Yeah,
but again, thank you so much for just sharing your story with us.
You.
And again, guys, like I just want to make this abundantly clear. Okay, this disease is very real. It definitely does take people out. It is very severe. It takes no prisoners in a way. I hate to say it like that, but there is hope out there. And just like what Jeffrey just said a second ago, if you are not speaking out about it and letting people know, bringing the awareness out here, letting people know that if you are someone that is battling sickle cell disease of any kind, then no one's going to know. Say it out there. Say it loud. Say it proud. You just never know. There might be somebody out there with that link to something, that help for you to go and get whatever it is that you need to get so that you can get cured. So, again, guys, I mean, Jeffrey said a bunch of different things throughout this entire interview. There are options out there. There are clinical trials out there as well. That maybe you don't have to jump through so many hoops just to start the journey towards a cure. It does exist. It is real. And Jeffrey right here is a true testament of that proof. It can happen. You can get cured. So get out there and start finding that cure for yourself, whatever that procedure may be. But again, Jeffrey, thank you so much for being on, man.
Hey, thanks for
I
having
appreciate
me.
you, bro.
Oh, very.
we
Yes.
from a distance.
I'm trying not to hit the mic.
We got electronics and everything on the way. But
I got those long arms.
that was still sad. That was sad as hell.
So sad.
That was really, let's try that again.
We gotta fix this. All right, there we go.
Yeah, man, we gotta do that. We gotta say it with our chest.
Yes.
But anyway, again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this live. Again, there's gonna be more like this in the very, very near future. Just get ready for it. I mean, again, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of thing without y'all and your help. So thank you so very much. Please do me a favor before we end this show. If you appreciated the conversation, you appreciated bringing the awareness to all of this, please make sure you hit that like button down below. Okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Yeah, I got to do the YouTuber thing real quick. Crush that subscribe button. But seriously, crush that subscribe button. Do all those good things. All right? And, of course, we're going to be having so many more conversations on this platform and then some. So you might be catching me outside here again soon with more types of lives like this. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Spread the awareness. It's real. It's out there. Let's cure as many people as we can. All right? Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.